Hello everybody! Welcome to CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page. This is Niuniu and I'm bringing you a series of live stream this week of our new project Old Wisdom, New Insights. 欢迎来到温故知新第二季，欢迎大家 Very happy to be here today and I have to tell you I am right here in Hunan. No longer in Beijing, no longer in the studio. I am live streaming in Hunan province. In this season, I will take you guys to visit the hometowns of historical figures and we can appreciate the beauty of modern China together. So let me say hello to those of you who have joined the live stream. Let me know if you have just joined the live stream. If you like the live stream, let me know by sharing, commenting, and simply putting there a like in the live stream. And today we are actually going to talk about a very important figure in Chinese history. We have previewed a little bit already, so if you know who he is, you can also type his name in the comment area. And in today's live stream, we are going to discover the childhood story of this important figure. And before all of that happening, I just have to show you the beautiful, beautiful sightseeing in Longhui County, Hunan province. Because I am born and raised in the northern part of the country, and for me, this kind of atmosphere, the paddy field you're looking at, the lovely roads in the countryside and people carrying their tools ready to go to start working in the fields are all very new and exciting to me. I'm not really sure if you're feeling the same thing, but I am absolutely thrilled. And yes, actually today we are here doing a brand new live stream in the series Old Wisdom, New Insights. 温故知新. We're learning about the historical figures and appreciating the beauty of modern day China. And the important person we are going to have a, let's say, exploration about, have a decipher of the code of his life story is Mr. Wei Yuan. And right now I am standing in front of the old Wei Yuan House. We say Wei Yuan Gu Ju. Gu means ancient or old, and Ju is a resident place, so Gu Ju together would be his house. It's a little bit like if you are in LA and you want to have a celebrity house tour. You travel in the field, you try to take a look at the houses of celebrities and figure out their stories. We are doing the same thing. The only difference is that it's their ancient hometowns. It is some of them have already been transferred into a little museum, and there are a lot of fun details wrapped in the amazing, looking like tiny little, but actually quite, I'll say, colorful and eventful old houses. And we are visiting Wei Yuan's house. So for those of you who have not a very clear idea about who Wei Yuan is, he is born around 200 years ago. So he's, well, from a Chinese perspective, because, you know, we have a long history, 5,000 years or so. So 200 years is not that far away. It's rather recent. He lived in the Qing Dynasty. But during Qing Dynasty, there was this period of time when people believed that China is strong enough, let's say powerful enough, and that China did not need the help or any kind of communication or interaction with outside world. We call that period of time 闭关锁国, closing the custom and putting a lock on the door of the entire country. People used to be a little bit arrogant and isolated, but apparently we know today it was not the right approach. And Wei Yuan was one of the very first persons in Qing Dynasty that opened a window to the outside world for Chinese people. He wrote many masterpieces, works that are designed to introduce the, let's say, Western world as well as foreign nations to Chinese people. And it has been a real, let's say, treasure to the Chinese residents. And one of the most important books was 海国图志 the illustrated treatise on maritime kingdoms. So for this kind of person, you would assume that he perhaps born in a huge city, he has learned a lot when he was young. That is why he's very open-minded. That was also the reason that he could be the one that, let's say, one of the first persons to open his eyes to the outside world. But it's not entirely the case. I am standing in his old house, and I have to say it's not the kind of modern city I had in mind. It's actually in a rather small town area. People are very nice and friendly, and I am very curious to know what the Wei Yuan story is, or what are the fun stories of Wei Yuan's childhood life. So before doing all that, let me say hello to many of you who are already joining the live stream. Let's see if you guys are sending any messages, or if you guys actually are watching the live stream actually knowing who Wei Yuan is, because previously we posted a lot of different materials, including short preview stories and pictures and short videos. I hope those would be a good start for our Old Wisdom New Insights, let's say, series. Okay, so I'm saying Sahar saying hi, hello to you. And we have Joshua saying, do you save this video so people can watch it anytime? Actually, you can do that. There is a function of replay on Facebook. If you like our live stream, the first thing you need to do is to turn on the notification. That is very important. By turning that on, you would be able to not miss any of our live streams, because you will be notified anytime we start a live stream. And the second thing you want to do is, anytime if you miss the live stream, you can watch the playback. Just subscribe or let's say follow our page, then you would be able to find our previous posts, including live streams and videos, as well as, let's say, pictures, any kind of posts we have done, you would be able to find us. So that is another thing you can do. So that is to answer your question. And Yi Xuan Deep saying, 你好, 早上好, 早上好to you too. Very happy to see you. Now it's Beijing time, I would say around 11:20. Not really sure about your time, so let me know your time. 你好 to Were, happy to see you. And Eddie saying, watching from Philippines, happy to see you as well. We have Jessie saying, Joshua C, yes, they are archived on the channel here. That is true. And we have Coffee Latte saying, 中国人好棒. Chinese people are awesome. Thank you for saying that. That is a really cool comment. And we have Rocky. Hello, Rocky. Happy to see you. And Yuan Long saying, 魏源故居. Yes, that is correct. 魏源故居. Wei Yuan is the important figure we've just talked about, the open-minded guy who's all for, reform and opening up, seeing the outside world, learning from the better ones, learning let's say, any points that are good at, people are good at. If they have advanced technology, we should learn from them. So that is the essence of Wei Yuan's idea. But we are going to have a more comprehensive understanding about him, of course. And right behind me, you can see the picture of Wei Yuan. 这是魏源的画像啊。This is actually from historic books, so its authenticity should not be, let's say, questioned. But if you guys follow my personal page, which is Niuniu Chinese, you can go find it if you'd like to. You have already seen this picture before, because I have posted on my personal public page, allowing you guys to take a guess of who he is and try to, kind of like a preview of his story before we jump into the live stream today. Okay, so Vivian is here. Vivian saying the place was lovely, seemed to have so fresh air, look relaxing and enjoyable to picnic. You are definitely right. Actually, here in Hunan province, especially in Longhui County, which is not of course not the provincial capital, it is also not that developed. So you can still capture the freshness, the countryside feeling from this county. I have never seen a paddy field myself, so standing and walking on the road alongside the paddy field is something I think everybody should experience. This kind of ideal life is really amazing. So I agree with you, Vivian. And Christopher, hi, happy to see you. Hello to Heng Cheng from Cambodia. And Maradi, happy to see you. And we have Save Hassan saying 您在武汉吗? Are you in Wuhan? No, Wuhan is in Hubei province, and I am right now in Hunan province. Really close. So the weather, the custom, the food would be a little bit closer, but they are two different places. Christopher saying it's 11:26 a.m. in Malaysia. Okay, it's pretty similar here in Hunan province, Longhui County. And William saying hello from San Francisco. Hello to you too. Hello to Marty, 柬埔寨10:27. So 10:27. We have Yuan Long saying Wei Yuan, born April 23rd, 1794, Shaoyang, Hunan province, China. Died March 26, 1857, Huangzhou, Zhejiang province. Historian and geographer of the Qing Dynasty. That is very correct, very concise introduction of Wei Yuan. Malak saying 我在湖南，老师，我想去你的学校，很喜欢你。Thank you very much, and thank you for the lovely comment. And many of you are here, very glad to have you join the live stream. If you like the live stream, please like and share and comment as much as possible. It helps us a lot. And for our new series, Old Wisdom, New Insights, we get to visit the hometowns of historical figures and appreciate the beauty of modern China. So hopefully you will like it. Right now, I'm standing in the house of Wei Yuan. Actually, it is also the hometown, and he spent the better part of his childhood here. We know that Wei Yuan is the man who loved to write, loved to read, and also loved to be a scholar. So being a scholar is something he would enjoy. So let's try to take a tour in his in his old house, and I will actually tell you some fun little stories of Wei Yuan's childhood. Oh, we should mind this. You can take a look at this. In China, if you are visiting any old houses, ancient places, you would see this bar between different rooms. It can be very high. When I was a kid and traveling around, I was told that you should never step on it because it represents good luck, it represents something nice. Stepping on it is not a good idea, so you should always step over it and get into the room. And right now we are standing in Wei Yuan's room, but it's his grown-up room. It's when he's all grown up and get married with his sadly first wife, and this is where he lived. You can see it's not really huge. 这个房子不是很大，房间不是很大。Chinese people have this concept of 陋室铭. So living in a not very luxurious house is considered a good moral, a good virtue of this person. So this is not a huge house, but we can see that the patterns on this old, I think it's overall kind of bad. It's still very beautiful, and I can touch it a little bit. Hopefully I'm not disturbing anything or destroying anything. So this is not a huge room, but this is Wei Yuan's room. And the room we didn't go into was actually his brother's room, his elder brother. They live together. Again, Chinese families, especially in old times, like to live in big families. They live even after getting married. They still live with their parents, sometimes grandparents, and their siblings. So that is the idea. Let's continue to walk and see what are some other rooms we have here. In the meantime, many of you have joined. Vivian saying, I saw calligraphy behind you. Is that biography of Wei Yuan? There are many calligraphy here. Some are what Wei Yuan wrote for different people, for different occasions. They collected those calligraphy pieces here so that they would show them to visitors. Visitors would have a better understanding of Wei Yuan's life. And some, I think, are other famous people's writings and artworks about Wei Yuan. So two different kinds. And here we're standing in the kitchen. And these are I've heard from the staff here, they said that when you're having a kitchen and you have a stove, the fire in the stove should be facing the main room because in Chinese, 火 excuse me, 火 is not only fire. Well, it is fire, of course, to start with, but it also means viral in good sense, prosperous. So if you say, 哇，这个人火了, this person is famous. So 火 is supposed to be something very lucky, and it signifies fortune. It is a good luck sign. That is why you can see the stove fire facing the main room. And here are 2, 3 stoves. Chinese people say 大灶, 中灶, 小灶. So 灶 is a little bit like the stove and the pot you have to cook. And 吃小灶 is also a fun Chinese expression. We say 吃小灶, meaning that if they're not cooking with a huge pot, giving it to everybody like in Canton, if someone is cooking in the small pot, especially for you, it means that they are customizing the designing, the method for you. So it's considered something, I'll say, pretty beneficial. And Wei Yuan had his own little 吃小灶 experience. We can talk about it in his study. And the room you're looking at is the dining room. Of course, after the kitchen, we would have a dining room. But start from here, we can see 2 separate rooms that are not originally built here. We've already talked about Wei Yuan's living from 200 years ago, or he's born in 200 years ago. So during a period in recent China, his houses were, let's say, divided and allocated to local villagers because they needed house to live in, they needed place to, habitat. So half of the Wei Yuan House was distributed to these local villagers. But after a while, local government realized the importance of learning the life story of Wei Yuan. So they started to, I think developers started to buying those rooms, these parts from the villagers so that the villagers would have a better place to live, and at the same time they can preserve this very important Wei Yuan House and make it a destination for tourists. And after doing that, because Wei Yuan had also lived in Nanjing, the city Nanjing, for a while, so they decided to quote-unquote move the most important 2 rooms of the Nanjing Wei Yuan House here, and those are these 2 rooms. So they learned and tried to study what those 2 rooms were in Nanjing, and they built a similar structure as well as the furniture and all these items you're looking at, bring them from Nanjing so that we could have a more comprehensive Wei Yuan House. So just keep in mind that this Wei Yuan House actually is composed with 2 parts, the original parts, Wei Yuan's childhood, as well as nice replica we are looking at from the Nanjing part, the Nanjing Wei Yuan House. You can see that most of these items were actually used by Wei Yuan, and it was donated by his offsprings. One thing I realized or noticed is this. Can you guess what this one is? This red plus black wooden looking, or let's say a bamboo looking. Do you know what it is? If you know what this thing is, let me know in the comment area, and let me let me say hello to those of you who have just joined. We have Saim saying, 你好太太，您好吗？我可以说中文一点点。Okay, so 太太, of course you can use that, but nowadays in China it is not that common. You can say 女士. That is very, very official. You only say it if you're talking in a banquet with the ambassador of Australia. But if you're talking in everyday sense, you can say 小姐姐. That is a good way to address young ladies here in China. And you're saying 我可以说中文一点点. 我可以说一点点中文. I can say a little bit Chinese. And don't forget our question here. What is this? What is this? Let me know what this is. And I'm also saying hi to Masol. Hello from New Zealand. Happy to see you. And Malak saying 我在衡阳湖南. Wow, perhaps See, you guys should tell me where you are always, so that when I'm planning a business trip, you would let me know where you are, and perhaps we can visit you and we can do live streams together. So, yes. Vivian saying, I saw calligraphy behind you. Yes, some calligraphy are Wei Yuan's. And again, what is this? What is this thing? Let me know. We have Sis Vath saying, 你好，我很喜欢中国. I really like China. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for saying that. And we have Muradi saying, 那床很漂亮. The bed is very pretty. I agree. Even though it's an old bed, it's rather antiquish looking. Still, it's a very pretty bed. I agree. 很漂亮. We have COVID Chan sharing the live stream. I'm not really sure why you have the name, but welcome to the live stream. And Jessie is still here. Very happy to see Jessie all the time. We have an answer. Sanam saying pillow. Yes, this is a pillow. It's a Chinese style pillow. 枕头. 枕头. The word 枕头 in itself, the character 枕 carries the meaning of putting your head on something, and 头 is your head. So it's a head putter, if you allow me. 枕头. It's really hard. I think sometimes Chinese people do not like a luxurious, too comfortable kind of life. They like to stay uncomfortable, so they're motivated, so they are keeping the edge, having the motivation to continue working, to striving for the best. I'm not really sure if I am a fan of that. At the same time, I am saying hi to Yuan Long, saying pillow. That is right, Yuan Long, that is a pillow. Kenny saying pillow fight anyone. Seriously, with that wooden pillow, that is not a good idea. Don't fight a pillow fight with that kind of pillow. Yes, it is his pillow. And let's see what are some other comments here. Or if you guys have any questions, you can let me know in the comment area. I would love to answer your questions. In the meanwhile, we're sending in the replica of the study Wei Yuan had in Nanjing. In Nanjing, he has also lived for a while. That is why he had this study. As you can see, it's not that huge, but it's already bigger than his bedroom. And the reason for that is because he also meets some guests or do some official work here, so he kind of needed the space. Replica. All right, let's continue to move, and we are finally moving to Wei Yuan's childhood area. The study, the homeschooling that he had learned or studied for a larger part of his life, and let's check out what they are. Not really sure if you guys know this, but a lot of these two types of rooms would located on the second floor. One is the schooling system or the study, the homeschool. We say 私塾. We're taking a look at that. And the second one is a ladies' room. So a young ladies' room would be upstairs. So let's go and check it out. 来上楼了，上楼 go upstairs. We have Lisa saying good day from Melbourne. Happy to see you. And 湖南省 yes, 湖南 province. 我现在在楼上了。Isn't the view beautiful on the second floor? And I can hear birds singing. And I can imagine people, you know, after the kids working, studying a little bit, they can step out of their room and start enjoying the view a little bit and watching the paddy field, watch the mountains a little bit afar, and, you know, running around on the floor and talk to each other. And in Chinese we say 追跑打闹. 追跑打闹 is what kids like to do. So 追 is chase after, 跑 run around, 打闹 is to goof around, play around. So 追跑打闹. Think about it. Do you have a mental picture in your head already? I think it's very vivid. Okay, so right now I'm standing in the bedroom of little Wei Yuan. Like I said, Wei Yuan used to live in the room downstairs when he was all grown up and married. But when he was a kid, he actually lived in this little room because it's closer to the study, it's closer to the sishu, the home school, and it is considered a better time or a better place for little Wei Yuan to further his studying, to grow up. And on this bed, there has been this fun little story. People say that I think kids, it doesn't really matter if the kids are in overseas places, in different countries, or in different times. Kids are always the same. I'm not really sure about you, but I myself had the fair share of experience of hiding under the covers with a torch in my hand when I was a kid and reading, trying to prevent the information from my parents. I do not want them to know that I was staying up late and reading. Same thing happened to little Wei Yuan, but Wei Yuan was not reading any novel, he was not reading any leisure books, any recreational readings. He was actually studying, and his mother told him not to because he studies so hard to the point that they believe it will hurt his health. But this is the bed where he hid it under covers and continue study. I don't know about you, but I think, you know, for kids like that, you can totally imagine him being a really good scholar. And practice makes perfect. If you have the same spirit of Mr. Wei Yuan and can practice Chinese the way he studies, perhaps you can also have really good level, good skills of Chinese. COVID Chen saying 马来西亚的朋友, you're a friend from Malaysia, aren't you? And also we have Muhammad saying, how are you? I'm very well, thank you very much. For those of you who have just joined, this is Niuniu with Here I Learn Chinese Facebook page. We are on a new series of Old Wisdom, New Insights, 温故知新. This is the second season. In this season, we are going to visit the hometowns of ancient or historical figures and have appreciate the beauty of modern China. Like I said, we have just visited the little room of little Wei Yuan, 所以是魏源小时候的卧室啊，卧室 would be bedroom, 卧室 bedroom, 卧室 bedroom. And here we are going into another very important room. Here in this room, if you are paying attention, you might have already noticed that this room is actually the only suite in this entire house. This is the only 套房 in Chinese we say 套房 suite. It means that there is the bedroom and outside there's a living room where they can study as well as work. This is the only suite in this entire house building area because this is a room for Wei Yuan's homeschool teacher. We say 私塾先生. 私塾先生. 私塾 is their homeschools and 先生 is their teachers. In ancient China, they would invite and also try to find the best teacher there is and invite the teacher into their families. For the rather wealthy family, instead of sending their kids to public schools, they would start their own private school, their family school, homeschool, because they believe, or I think even for Confucius, he has upheld the idea that customizing method for teaching is more important, is a better approach. We say 因材施教 in Chinese. 因材施教, meaning to provide customized approach for different people because we are different in different ways. We have different pros and cons. There are things we're good at and others are not. So if you can design a special teaching method for each and every individual, that method would be the best for that person. So people used to believe in homeschooling, and of course, they cannot teach their kids themselves, but they can always find a good teacher. So teachers actually had a really high status in ancient day China. As you can see, this one is the best suite there is, the best room there is in this 故居, the only one with a suite, 套房啊，唯一一个套房。 Like I said, if you guys like the live stream, you can like and share and comment as much as possible. It will help us a lot. And if you have any questions, you can also let me know in the comment area. Jessie saying this is quite a short bed. I know. I think seeing or observing the ancient time beds makes me think that perhaps in ancient days people were not that tall, and with the nutrition and the development of the society of the country, people are growing taller than taller. And I can see that a few, let's say, grades younger than me, the schoolmates I have, we say 学弟学妹, schoolmates 学弟学妹啊. They are taller than me. So yes, people are growing taller. And let's see who's also watching. It is for a child for sure. Yes, that is a short bed for a child. We say it's for childhood Wei Yuan, for little child Wei Yuan, And I am standing right here after the bedroom, 卧室 bedroom of Wei Yuan, as well as the suite, 套房 of the teacher. I am standing in their homeschooling or in their study. 这里呢就是他们的私塾的教室啊 ，it's a classroom， 教室。You can see there are not many tables, many desks, because for the Wei Yuan family, they used to have around 30 students in their family, but they also would invite students from a rather humble background to come here and study with the teacher they invited. It is a thing in ancient China. We say 穷则独善其身，达则兼济天下. Basically means that if you are not that wealthy, you should take care of yourself, or at least try so. But if you are from a rather better background, you should try to help others as well. And for these wealthy families, they would invite the best teacher they can to be the teacher, 私塾先生, remember, in their home school, in their private school. And they would also allow kids in the region, in the village, in the county to come and study in their private schools. So even though it's not a public school, you can still get the experience of staying with your schoolmates, talking to them, having fun with them, and also helping them if they are in need. Actually, there has been a very fun little story of Wei Yuan. When he was a student, one day, one of his good friends was in dire need of a textbook. This friend was in the tipping time to go attend a very important examination, and he needed that textbook for study. But that textbook has been very, I'll say, precious and very popular. So he went to a lot of different bookstores. None of those bookstores actually have the book he needs. Most of the books were sold out. So he had no idea what to do, and he told Wei Yuan his situation. Wei Yuan said, "Don't worry, I will help you. Just give me one day." And then Wei Yuan disappeared for one day. The second day, he handed his friend, little Wei Yuan, handed his friend a brand new book. Well, or it's a copy of the book that he wrote. His friend was very curious and dumbfounded, asked him, "How did you do that? I know perhaps there is this copy in the library, but they do not allow us to copy the book in the library. They only allow us to read. So how did you manage to get to this book?" It turns out that little Wei Yuan went into the library, read the book, remember the whole thing, and actually go back home and write the entire book from his memory. In Chinese, there's a saying, 过目不忘. 过 means to pass. Mu is an ancient way to say eyes. So anything that passes my eyes, 不 means no, and 忘 is forget. This 过目不忘 expression actually means that anything passes my eyes, I would never forget. So I think Wei Yuan perhaps also has this photographic memory we praise a lot about these days. All right, let's see if you guys have any questions or comments. Let me know if there is any. I would love to answer them. At the same time, let me say, Hello to Lisa. Lisa saying good afternoon from Melbourne, Australia. Very happy to see you. Haven't seen you guys for a while. How are you? How are you? Let me know. Jessie saying, I see, 谢谢. You are very welcome. And I'm also saying hi to Evelyn, to Sylvie, and Hamenta saying 你好, 你好 to you too. We have Faravi saying very beautiful place. I totally agree. This is fascinating, and if you are a fan of plants, of landscape, you might have already realized that the situation or the landscape here in Hunan province is already very different from Beijing, because this is the southern part of the country, and there is a saying, 人杰地灵, 人杰地灵. 人 we know is people, and 杰 is outstanding. Di is talking about the place. Ling is saying this is a special place. This is a cradle of talent. This is the place where talents are very prosperous and you can find a lot of them. So 人杰地灵. I think this is a good expression to describe Longhui, to describe this particular little village where Wei Yuan was born and raised. Okay, we have Nathaniel saying, what subjects were recommended during ancient times? Philosophy, art, calligraphy? Actually, in Wei Yuan's time, because like we already mentioned, he was one of the first persons in ancient China, or in Qing Dynasty, that opened his eyes to the Western world. So when he was still a kid, it was not that open yet. When he was still a kid, he was still studying the ancient, rather traditional subjects, including the philosophy, including literature, and they are also recommended to learn play guqin. If you still remember from our New Year concert, guqin has 5 or 7 strings, not very huge, but very beautifully playing. So qin, and they are also encouraged to learn archery, and they are also encouraged to learn music, to learn Weiqi, Chinese Go. So they're still also very talented, but as you can see, there are not many scientific projects or subjects in this curriculum, and also it's not, there's no foreign language or mathematics in those curriculums, and those were changed by the generation or the group. Many of people, including Wei Yuan, the Wei Yuans changed that to today's education system. Okay, Pro Smile saying ancient Chinese movie is the best. Ooh, if you like ancient Chinese movie, hopefully in the future we can find some good ones and we can watch together. As long as I have the copyright, I can watch them with you. Or in the future, maybe I can recommend you some. I agree, they are pretty nice. Muhammad saying very cool place. Yes. 这个地方很冷吗? Yes, it's a little bit cold. I think I am suffering a little bit from a sore throat this morning, and it's raining. It's raining all day. Local people say that it will rain for 2 weeks, so half a month. 要下2周的雨，2周都要下雨哦，一直下雨。So yeah, it's pleasant. I have to say the freshness of the air is absolutely stunning, but the coldness, and in Chinese we say 湿冷, it's humid and it's cold. Not very pleasant from someone who's from the northern part of the country. Nathaniel saying only keep the question, what is the best way of helping other people? Okay, so when it comes to helping other people, I think there are many expressions. Some people say that you should help people learning a technique rather than only the material. And some people also say that helping others means you should provide them with what they need. So there are many in different philosophy, but I think it's a really good question. And 你好, 你好 saying 欢迎, and Motum saying good morning. Very happy to see you guys join the live stream. Now we have already concluded the second floor tour. Let me go down there and join you guys on the first floor again. check out the view. It's very amazing. I can see different shades of orange and yellow and green. It's we say 神清气爽啊，神清气爽. So 神 is like the spirit or your feeling or your, let's say, attitude, a little bit like that, the atmosphere around. And 气爽 is the atmosphere is refreshing. It's really refreshing in the yard. Okay, so now we are moving on to the place where Wei Yuan's parents were lived. And in China, there is this principle that the elder generation should be upholding a higher position, which is why even their homes are a little bit higher. You can see that the foundation is a little bit higher than the previous ones we visited. Louis saying, 谢谢, you're very welcome. And we have Isaiah saying, hello, Niuniu, very beautiful day. It is beautiful and picturesque. Has vandalism or of such cultural heritage ever occurred? Thank you so much for that comment. And we have Hamenta saying, please can you elaborate about Chinese remainder theorem in mathematics? Well, I think for mathematics in Qing Dynasty, the emperors, some of the officials have already started learning mathematics. And, well, of course, in modern day sense, because Chinese people have their own mathematics in a long time ago. We have 九章算术, if you know what that is. But 算术 is, again, considered a specific subject, and it is more for practical use than being considered as a major subject in philosophy, mathematics, and I think physics, so it can be a little bit different in Chinese history. Kobe Chen saying, 谢谢老师, you are very welcome. Noi saying, what holiday do you have during these months? For this month, this is 4月, 4月, we have 清明节, Qingming Festival. 清明节, we enjoy a one-day holiday, and we would always often combine that one day with a weekend, so we have a long weekend. That has just passed, and I think next month we are welcoming the 五一劳动节, so the 1st of May would be Labor's Day, and we are enjoying a 5-day holiday, so a lot of holidays to look forward to. Jesse saying, 古琴 is a beautiful instrument. I agree with you fully. Giovanni Lucas here saying, 你好, Niuniu, very happy to see you. Great to have you joining our live stream. For those of you who have just joined, this is Niuniu with CRI Learn Chinese Facebook page. And this is our series live stream, Old Wisdom, New Insights. 温故知新. In this episode, or in this rather season, we are visiting the homes, the hometowns of historical figures, and appreciate the beauty of modern day China. And this is, as you can see, the homes of Wei Yuan's parents. Their beds, I think, are a bit bigger. Also very beautiful. And moving on, we can see that some are also, let's see, what is this one? These are both the bedrooms for the elder generations. And you can see the decorations on the beds. I think there are little stories, but you can also see a phoenix, 2 phoenix, perhaps talking to each other. And also these little pictures are supposed to be little stories. Most of the stories would have something to do with justice, with helping people, with filial piety. 孝 is also very important in Chinese sense. And Wei Yuan had said a lot of very important things and wrote a lot of important works. And one of my personal favorite is 于安思危，于治忧乱. Let's move on to here. So 于安思危，于治忧乱. 于 means amid or at. 安 means 安全 or it's short for 平安, it's short for peace and safe. 思 is think of or think about, and 危 is 危险 risk. So 于安思危，于治忧乱 actually means that you should think about or be worried about unrest in times of stability, and worry or be aware of risks in times of peace. So this is talking about, I think we have the same expression you guys have the same expression in English. You say, save it for a rainy day. You say, always be prepared. So be prepared. And sometimes we say, think of war in times of peace, in a sense that we should always be alerted to risks, be alerted to danger. And this sentence has also been cited by President Xi Jinping in 2018 when he was talking about reinforcing the guarding or the, let's say, preventing risks in party building. So be aware of danger, of risks is something I think very important to all of us, because there's no doubt that we all live in a rather peaceful, nice, stable environment, but it's not a sure thing, or it's not a right, it's more of a privilege, so we should always be alerted. And Wei Yuan is a practitioner of that saying. Actually here, if you do understand Chinese, this story is about Wei Yuan building a dam before a flood is coming, because he believed that when the flood is in the place that he was governing, people would be hurt and property would be destroyed. So he, let's say, make sure that he asked people to rebuild and to reinforce the dams before the flood. Even though his superior was not behind that idea, he still continued to do so, and he prevented a lot of people. So make sure 于安思危，于治忧乱, something very important. And right now we are standing at the ancestral hall. We say 祠堂 in Wei Yuan's house. Here you can see on the top there is one calligraphy piece. This is given by the local official to the entire Wei Yuan family. It's not only the Wei Yuan himself, but his family, his elder generations, because they have helped local people and once for many times, so they decided to call him a important and also nice figure in the whole area. So that is what that plate means. Okay, let's step outside into the yard and let's see what do you guys have for questions. We talked about 人杰地灵, that's true. And yes, I see many of you have just joined. Mujahadi saying good presentation. Thank you very much for saying that. Vivian is still here, happy to see you still being here. 梅麦克 saying 中午好 to you too. And 你好 saying 温故知新 heart. Thank you very much for that comment. If you guys do remember the previous season of 温故知新, it was in the form of short videos. And for this season, we are planning on making it a comprehensive project. We are going to have videos, have live streams, as well as podcasts. So when the podcasts are there, I'll let you guys know. Make sure you subscribe it, and you will not regret it. So thank you so much for saying that. But before that day comes, I will still take you to visit the hometowns of historical figures and appreciate the beauty of modern China. 梅麦克 saying 很好的介绍和美丽的清朝. Thank you for saying this is a nice expression and explanation. And Qing Dynasty, though, has their problems. In today, it's still an important dynasty in Chinese history. There are many things we can study, we can learn from the past, so that we know how to guide us in the future, know being guided in the future. So be very nice to learn from learn the history. And we have Jessie saying, do they have any of Wei Yuan writings and books in English? Actually, 海国图志 is the most important books of Wei Yuan's 海国图志. So 海 is sea or ocean. 国 is country. So it's talking about maritime countries. In Wei Yuan's idea, all the countries outside of China, or most of the countries outside of China, especially in Europe, in America, they were considered maritime kingdoms because they're far away and you have to only using boat or ships to travel to find them. But that is why 海国图志 is called illustrated treatise on maritime kingdoms. And I think that book perhaps also has an English version, but as for Wei Yuan, he wrote that book to introduce the outside world to China. He introduced the technology, 技术, as well as the geographical situation and customs of those countries. So from here, you can actually see a little bit. These pictures are from 海国图志, the book. He included many maps, even though some of the maps are not that precise or not that correct comparing to today's. But for someone who doesn't really understand English, he has done an extraordinary job. He doesn't understand English, but he had the patience and the ability to read, to compose, to compile a lot of different materials. You can kind of understand him as a human library. He got all that information and he sorted them into different categories, into different let's say chapters, and he also included all these maps. And in order to make sure these maps are correct or accurate, he had traveled around the country. I was told that if you take a look at this map, I think this is not a map of today. It's a map of Wei Yuan's time mostly, and all the red ones are where he had traveled. So most of the red places are what he had traveled, and he had indeed traveled to a lot of different places all across China. So yes, if you're interested, you can further read Wei Yuan's work. There are many, just so you know. Okay, any other questions you guys have? If you have any, let me know. Max is saying 那些家具很旧，但是有历史. That's true if you think about it. It's from 200 years ago. It has a very rich history, and it tells us the story of Wei Yuan's childhood life. Steve saying, I think Muhammad is in love with you. That is a strange comment, but I'm always a fan of you guys here commenting and sending messages. Aziz saying 视频非常漂亮，我已经分享了. Thank you very much. For those of you who like the live stream, please like and share and comment as much as possible. It helps me a lot, and I believe it helps other fellow Chinese lovers to learn about the history, learn about Chinese culture, society, and anything related. It is a huge pleasure doing the live stream with you guys. Steve saying, who is on cam? So I think it has been a while that we have a very, very professional technical group. We have the camera crew. We have our lighting man. Do we call him that? 灯光老师, we say. So we have an entire crew helping us, and you see the change of shots, allowing you guys to focus on not only myself, but also all the details. So we have great colleagues with us today. And Kashyap saying hello, happy to see you. Vivian saying, why I don't see anyone around that place? I think it's mostly because the weather is not that pleasant. It's drizzling a little bit, 下雨, 有一点点下雨, and also it's pretty cold. And And again, it is noontime, so perhaps people are still inside their houses and having lunch, and that is what we are about to do after the live stream. Kasheb saying bye. Jessie saying Niuniu is on camera today. Yes, I am on camera with some pretty amazing camera crew. And Aziz, thank you so much for your blessing. That's very sweet of you. Steve saying, how is that possible? North California. Ah, you guys. You guys are talking to each other. Always appreciate that. Asaya saying, what a beautiful structure and art. Is it possible to get Chinese literature translated into Spanish and English? And where could I think there are English versions of most of the vital works in ancient China, but I would still rather encourage you to learn Chinese, because even for me, the ancient language can be quite different or challenging to understand. So being able to understand the authentic taste of the language is going to be much more fun than reading the translation. So yeah, that's my recommendation. And Christian, hi Christian, you're here. You're saying I'm late, no worries. If you have just tuned in, do not worry. We are reaching the end of this episode, but in this week, I'm going to be in Hunan and do more live streams, and it will all be in the series of Old Wisdom, New Insights. In this season, we're going to take you to all around China, to different places, so that you guys would be able to visit the hometowns of ancient historical figures in Chinese history, the very important ones, and learn about some expressions they said, as well as appreciating the beauty of modern China. Still remember what's the most important sentence of this episode? 于安思危，于治忧乱。于安思危. Think or be alerted to danger in times of peace. 于治忧乱. Be wary of unrest in times of stability. Remember that sentence, very important, cited by many people, including Chinese President Xi Jinping. Nathaniel saying, we began as wonders and we are wonders still. Wandering Taoist. Tao. That is a funny comment. Jessie saying she is in Hunan. That's true. I'm in Hunan and in Longhui County, and I am discovering the story of Wei Yuan. In his late times, Wei Yuan concentrated on studying on his scholarly work, and he, at the very end years, he turned into a, let's say, loyal believer of Buddhism, 佛教啊. And I think that perhaps is a proper ending for a lot of great thinkers and philosophers. A lot of philosophers believe that at the end of, or at the very extreme of studying, you would chase or you would go after different beliefs and different religions at the end. But before that, he still left us with a lot of very important, very vital works that encouraged a lot of people to start learning from the West. And I have to say, his book was also one of the bestsellers in Japan and inspired them to learn from the West. So that is the story of Wei Yuan, or at least the childhood story of Wei Yuan. In the future, we're still going to explore a little bit of his elder or his grown-up ages and talk about some other things that he has lived, he has done, that are very impressive. Hopefully we can see you in those live streams as well. Thank you guys so much for this lovely 1 hour. If you have any questions, you can continue leaving the questions in the comment area. And we are also going to continue posting many pictures and short videos on our page here, I Learn Chinese, as well as my page, Niuniu Chinese. So make sure you follow us, and we will see you next time. Bye bye guys.